in 2007, and she completed her Bhakti Shastri in 2023, and she's right now engaged in His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj's lecture transcription service and proofreading service. She also took validation and sloka sessions in BITS campus. She is right now helping to conduct faculty programs at BITS campus, and she's assisting Her Grace Ujjwala Radhe Mataji for girls preaching in BITS campus. So that's a whole lot of services which we were not really aware of, but so happy to know this, and we are really excited to hear from her. So over to you, Punyasri Mataji. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to hear from you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. And I take this advantage of this class to beg forgiveness to each one of you if I have done anything wrong in my conduct anytime, knowingly or unknowingly. So please forgive me, and we'll start the session.
Mataji, one more thing I just wanted to add, like we were in TTC training, and that was the time I came to know Manohar Govind Prabhu more closely. And I, like, once he was just sharing his experience, and he was sharing that, initially, like, you were non-devotee, so he was little apprehensive, but once he got married, like, you have taken to devotional life very wonderfully, and now he's really very happy the way both of you are, like, together working for the pleasure of Guru and Vaishnavas. So it's a wonderful thing that you have taken up to Krishna consciousness very soon, and already you're doing so many services. So thank you so much for that.
Nothing much. I'm not doing anything actually. It's my fortunate that to get such a husband. He's very patient in teaching me all the things, what is needed at what time. So by the mercy of him and by the devotees, I'm learning so many things. Yes, ma'am. We'll start the session. Today I'm going, if I'm audible properly, if any internet issue is there, please let me know in the middle.
Mataji, you can just be a little louder. Maybe you just check the volume.
Is this fine, Mataji, now?
Mataji, little louder, Mataji. Your voice.
Hello? Okay. So today I'm going to speak about the among 12 Mahajans, one of the great personality, that is Sukadeva Gosvami. I'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadati Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Saprajatam Sagana Shri Raghunatham Nityam Sampaitam Sampaitam Saishanataitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Nityanala Lalita Shri Vishakam Sha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Ram Krishna Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shrivadi Paschatya Deshadani Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Bhakti Krishna Namaha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Ranga Kanta Namaste Sapta Kanchana Gaurandi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sati Pranamami Hariti Vavancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Hevacha Patitana Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll just tell the background before telling about Sukadeva Goswami. So I'll just tell about the brief about the background, how Sukadeva Goswami enters, comes to narrate the Bhagavatam to all of us. So background is that Maharaja Parikshit was cursed by the cursed by the sage, and he is going to die in another 7 days. So he was thinking, what he has to do, and he is he has come near the Ganges to see, the divine intervention of the Lord and the revelation, what his Lord is arranged for him. And he has, two important questions to ask all the sages. So all over the world, like all the sages, saintly peoples, everyone was came to the place near the Ganges, banks of the Ganges, and everyone has assembled there. So Parikshit Maharaj has two questions, important questions. So one is, what is the important or ultimate kartavya, responsibility of any human being that is common for all of us? And another is, second question is, what is the duty of the dying man? So in specific for him, but also it applies to all of us, as we are going to die at any time. So there was a huge discussion, and it's going to be the mega discussion over there. So because all the sages comes from different background, or different sadhus from different lineages were present. So everyone was proposing in their own way, like their paths of how Parikshit Maharaj can attend the higher destination. So someone proposed that, Mataji, is I'm audible properly?
Yes,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
So some sages were some said that he has to do the yajna, so sacrifice yajna, so that he will attain a higher destination. And some was saying Ashtanga yoga. So he has to bring this pranic shakti to the topmost part of the body, and so that he can achieve the higher destination. And some was saying he has to do the dhyana, meditation on the super soul. And some was saying he has to do the tapasya, or the austerity, because all the time he was in the family life. Now he has to go in seclusion and do some austerity. That's what somebody was saying. And some says he has to go and do the charity, because he was a king all the time, and now he can do some charity, and so on, so on. And everyone was telling, and everyone was not coming to the conclusion. And Maharaja Parikshit was like anxious. Every moment passes, it is he has only 7 days. So he was anxious that he was just waiting for the revelation of the God. What is next? And for example, we can say that if one diseased person goes to the treatment for treatment, then every different doctors will suggest different medicines, like Ayurvedic. If some says Ayurvedic is very slow, go for allopathy. If allopathy is also not working, you go for homeopathy. Nowadays trend of homeopathy. And if your homeopathy is also not working, you go for naturopathy, mud and clay or some natural things to use and cure the disease. And if nothing is working, go for Tirupati. So for one disease, different doctors will propose different medicines. So just like that, different sages were recommending different paths. But nobody was coming to the conclusion. And there is a reference in Mahabharata that just by discussion, no proper conclusion will come. And rishis are not considered to be exalted when they are agrees with another rishi. So if one rishi is agreeing with another rishi, is not considered to be exalted. So he has to propose something else, taking out from the Shastra, and he has to, prove it on the basis of Shastra. So then only, they are considered as exalted. So in Shastras, there will be more paths than this nowadays, the pharmaceuticals, what they are having. So, ultimately, then in the last, because nobody was coming to conclusion, and Parikshit Maharaj was also anxious. Bhagwan himself, Lord himself, by the mercy of the Lord and by Bhagavat Kripaya, so Sukadeva Goswami comes to that place. Nobody actually invited Sukadeva Goswami, but he comes, Yadrichaya, means he comes by his own will. We'll see now how this is the background, and we can now see about a little bit about, from here on, about the Sukadeva Goswami, his appearance, how his features and all the things. So Sukadeva Goswami's appearance it is actually referred in one time. Actually, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked by Pandit Atma Rama Shastri from Assam in October 25th, 1928. He asked this question about the Sukadeva Goswami's appearance. So that time, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Maharaj quotes this and he says this, how he appeared. So that's what I'm going to tell now. And it's also, this reference is also birth and appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. Also, we can see in the Moksha Dharma Parva of Mahabharata, Skanda Purana, and Brahma Vaivarta Purana. How Sukadeva Goswami appeared. He is actually a Radharani's pet parrot. So he always used to sit on the left side of the Radharani, and then always Radharani used to speak about Krishna, and all the time the parrot was listening about Krishna and the transcendental pastimes. He was spending the time, but when the time comes when Radharani wants to go back for a spiritual work, then she told the parrot to stay back. But parrot was not ready. Parrot was not ready to stay back without hearing about Krishna. So Radharani tells that wherever Srimad Bhagavatam has been recited, you can you don't have to feel separation. So then parrot stays there, and he was searching where the Bhagavatam is being recited. So then he comes to know that Shiva is reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati Devi. So this and all, yeah, this is long passing, and so that time what happens, Shiva actually sends everyone out from the Kailash, because he wanted to recite Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati Devi. So he tells that everyone has to be out, because if one is not eligible to hear about Bhagavatam, if they hear the Bhagavatam, then it will be a disturbance to the society. So he doesn't want the disturbance. So he sends out everyone, and he was telling only to Parvati. So at the time, parrot flees to Kailash, and hidingly inside, he sits on the tree, and he was he started reciting, and parrot starts listening. And while telling stories, we say nodding the head as like that. So Parvati was also telling that like that sound she was making, and in the middle of hearing the Bhagavatam, she actually fell asleep. And seeing this parrot thinks that Shiva might stop telling the Bhagavatam. So in the voice of Parvati, parrot starts nodding the head and saying like that. Then Shiva recites the whole Bhagavatam. Then by the time Parvati also wakes up, and Shiva asks Parvati, how was the Bhagavatam? So then Parvati Devi holds her hand and begs forgiveness that she fell asleep in the middle. She could not hear fully. So Shiva was like surprised, then who was nodding the head, who was making that noise of telling yes. Then he searches everywhere and he finds that one parrot is sitting on the tree. Then he takes the trident of him and he runs and chases after parrot, and parrot flees away into the forest. And inside the forest, like Vasudeva was reciting the Bhagavatam to his wife Deepika or Vatika. So that time, Vasudeva's wife yawns, and this parrot goes inside her mouth and goes in the stomach. And by the time, Shiva also comes there, and Shiva tells that whole story what had happened. Then Vasudeva tells. So now the parrot has heard old Bhagavatam, so he is now transcendental out of the birth of chain of birth and death. So you don't have to be worried of him. You just don't have to be worried. You can go back. And then here the parrot inside the stomach of Deepika, so he takes the form of a baby, and so after so many years he doesn't come back. So he actually stays for more than 10 years. Then they actually prays with Vasudeva and his wife, prays with the Lord and to help them. Then by the mercy of the Lord, he actually he doesn't want to come because external energy of the Krishna attack them. So because of that reason he did not come back. So and then Lord comes and he will gives again that you will not be attacked by Maya and you will be protected. Then he actually comes out. And another pastime is that so one time Vasudeva wants the hair for some lineage to carry on. Something like if some businessmen are there, that family wants to carry the business trading or something to their sons, or some Ayurvedic doctors or someone. So they want to continue their family lineage. So just like that, Vasudeva also wants to continue his family lineage. That somebody has to carry the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he wanted a son. He was praying for the son. He went for the meditation to the forest and for the trees and for asking for a son. So that time when he was sitting for the meditation, actually one damsel from from the heavenly planets, she takes the form of a parrot and she comes. She was. And then she flew in front of Vasudeva. She is such beautiful that Vasudeva actually releases the semen, and that semen was dropped on the arani wood. So from that arani wood, the baby comes out. Okay. That baby's named as Shuka or Sukadeva. And then so these are the two pastimes where Sukadeva Goswami's appearance has been described. So he said that it is happened in two different kalpas. It's a kalpa veda. So in one kalpa, Sukadeva Goswami was born from the arani wood, and in another kalpa, he has born from the womb of his mother. That's how the description is there. And we can see how the description through the verses. I will just quote the verses of Bhagavatam and then tell the pastime related description. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.3. It is said, Nudamakalpataru Talitam Chalam Sukamakar Amrita Dravasamhitam Pipata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Vibhavakam. This Srimad Bhagavatam is, itself is matured fruit. Just now the mango season has been how the matured fruit tastes very delicious. But when that matured fruit is being tasted by a parrot, it even tastes more. So just like that, when the Srimad Bhagavatam is being recited by the lips of the Sukadeva Goswami, it even for the ear, it even is even more. It's nectarian to ear or religion. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.19.27. तत्रा भवाद् भगवान् व्यासपुत्रो यत्रिज्जयागमात्मनो नपेक्षा आलक्ष्य लिङ्गनिजलाभतुष्टो वृत्तश्च बालैरवधूतवेश. So here Vritascha Balai. Vritascha Balai means he was always surrounded by the children, because children thinks that he's a madman, he's not wearing any clothes, he's just hairs are scattered. Is just wandering around here. They all think that children think that he's a madman. They were all surrounded and making laugh at him, making fun of him, and he was always surrounded by the children. And also it is saying that Avaduta. So Avaduta is Avaduta meaning Acharyas give the meaning for Avaduta Takta Sharira Adara. So one who has respect, one who has given up respecting his body. So we all so much pamper our body, and we disregard the soul. But Sukadeva Goswami is such that he always respects and pampers the soul, but he completely disregards the body. We actually put the hair oil, or we put the coloring for the hair, and then we put nice cloths. What all we don't do? We do so many things, but Sukadeva, even Sukadeva Goswami does not attach to the body. Even animals are not attached to the body. Like they don't do putting oil or cloths, nothing. But they are attached for eating, mating, sleeping, defending. So Sukadeva Goswami is completely detached from all these things. And one more thing is society cannot understand or decode or decipher the position of the Sukadeva Goswami, because his position is so much detached from the body. We when we compare to ourselves, like we want to hear so much glories about us, and we want to taste some palatable dishes. We want to smell the good things. We want to touch some soft things. Hearing, smelling, yeah, and we want to see some nice things with our eyes. But Sukadeva Goswami is aloof from all these things. He is not actually it is said that we all run after 8 things. And Srimad Bhagavatam, it quotes that in 2.4.2. So we all run after 8 things. That is Atma, Jaya, Suta, Agara, Pashu, Dravina, Bandhushu, and Jaya, Rajya. So what is that means? Atma is body, attachment to the body, and Atma Jaya is attachment to the spouse. Suta is attachment to children. Agara is attachment to house. And Pashu is animals here, but nowadays we are attached for the vehicles. And Dravina is attachment for the wealth. Bandhushu, attachment to the friends or relatives. And Rajya, so attachment to the property or these things. So we all run after these 8 things, but Sukadeva Goswami doesn't need all these things. He is just in knowledge of all these things. And it is said, the verse is saying that Anapeksha Bhav. Anapeksha Bhav means he is very selfless. He is disinterested in any other things. And he has Anapeksha. Apeksha means expectation. Anapeksha is no expectation. So he just came to the place where Parikshit Maharaj was sitting with without any expectation or without any personal gain. Nobody actually invited him here. He just comes by his own. One Acharya actually describes that about karma. What is karma? So karma means somebody comes to this world to perform the to perform the karma, which is to perform the karma, which is the desires within themselves, deep within themselves, just to overcome that, becomes here. So, but here, Sukadeva Goswami is such that he doesn't have any karma to perform. It is said, Avadutas and one more is I will just I will just tell it in the last. I just forgot it. Yeah, I will just add. So he was unapexable. He was selfless. He was not, without any personal gain. He just comes there. And Alakshalinga, he was not showing any external signs of, Varna, Ashram, or Sampradaya. No external signs of Varna, like he was not, showing any Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, any signs, like he was not wearing any thread, or, he was not showing any signs for that. Ashrama Dharma, like he was not showing Ashrama Dharma, like Brahmachari, Vyasa, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. Yeah, and he was not showing any signs of Sampradaya also, like the spiritual lineage one comes from, like Hinduism or Jainism or Sikhism. He was not showing any signs. He was Alakshalinga. He was completely bereft of all these signs. And it is said that he did not even ask for bhiksha, or he did not even undergone for any purificatory process, like thread ceremony or jata karma or namakaran ceremony. Nothing he underwent. And also it is mentioned that nija labha tushta, he is completely satisfied with what he has gained in his life. What he has gained in his life is Krishna prema. So he is completely satisfied with that Krishna prema. And we'll tell the we'll see now the description about how Sukadeva Goswami was. Tatam Vashtavasham Sukumara Padam Karorubhavam Shakapola Gatram Charvayataksho Nasatulya Karnam Shubhravananam Tambu Sujatakantam. So here it is telling V Ashta. V Ashta means V is 2, Ashta is 8. 2, 8, 28. It is not 28 actually. V Ashta is 2 times 8. It is 16 years old. So it is supposed to tell that he is 16-year-old. He looks like 16-year-old. And also here Sukadeva Goswami describes that from the lotus feet. As we all describes the Lord of any Vaishnava from the lotus feet. Sukadeva Goswami also describes Sukadeva Goswami from his lotus feet. And Sukumara Pada, like his Pada was so soft like butter. Even though he goes all throughout the earth to preach the Srimad Bhagavatam, but his feet were not worn out. His feet were like butter because of the devotion what he was carrying with him. And Karor Bhavamsha, like his hands and feet were very soft. His kapola, his feet were very soft. Charva interruption. And his ears were very equal, and his eyes was like elongated and very beautiful. And Shubhravanam, like even his eyelashes are very nice, and his nose was very elongated, and Kambu Sujata Kantam, like his neck was actually compared to the conch shell. Conch shell is having the lines. When we go to blow the conch shell, we can see the lines. So it is compared, his necklines is compared to the conch shell. So here also Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells that one of the signs of the liberated souls, they always look fresh. They look very youthful, and they are filled with the spiritual energy. Sukadeva Goswami did not actually show any physiognomal signs that, but everyone in the arena that where everyone was assembled there, everyone understood that because of Krishna prema emanating from his body, from him. So all the sages welcomed him, getting up and paying obeisances. Yeah, they are with folded hands. So that everyone welcomes Sukadeva Goswami. And also some more description about Sukadeva Goswami said. I will just go to verse from Bhagavatam 1.19.27. Nibuda Chatrum Pritatam Vakshasam Avartanabhim Valival Kudaram Cha Digambaram Vakra Vikirna Kesham Pralambabahum Swamarottamabham. So Niguda Jatrum is fleshy, but he is not fat. This Niguda Jatram is actually comes also in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto for Sudama, because he was fleshy, he was bone. But here he was not, bones were not protruded, but he was not fat. And Ratutunga Vakshasam, his chest and his high, chest was high and it was broad. And Avartanabhin, his navel was so beautiful, it could put the water whirlpool to shame. So it was compared so nicely, it is compared. And Vali Valgu Udaramcha, his chest and hips were broad, but waist was very thin and were nice lines on the abdomen. And Digambaram, dig means direction, Ambaram is cloths. So he was dressed by the he was not dressed with the cloths, but he was actually dressed by the 10 directions. That is north, south, east, west, north, east, south, and south, west, south, north, and up and down. So this 10 direction, he was actually dressed by these 10 directions. And Vakra Vikirna Kesham. So his hair was curly and scattered. Pralamba Bahum, his arms were very elongated. His hands were actually long up to his knees. This actually this Pralamba Bahum is actually description is Chaitamrit. It is told for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu. Both were having this long hands up to his knees. So here for Sukadeva Goswami also this Pralamba Baham, he was having the arms very long up to his knees. And Swamarottamabam, Su Amara Uttama Abba. So means effulgence or light. The effulgence which was coming out from him, it was like it was compared to who is best among the demigods. Who is the best among demigods? We can say best among the devatas is Krishna. So that here the effulgence from the Sukadeva Goswami's body is compared to Krishna's effulgence. Comparing, he is actually the manifestation of Krishna. Some acharyas say he is the manifestation of Krishna, and some acharyas explain that he is Krishna himself. And and also like the Krishna prema emanating from him, the energy was filled everywhere. Everyone could feel that all the sages who were present there could feel that he's not a common person. He's such liberated person. Next verse we'll see. And also Sutta Goswami describes Sukadeva Goswami as Bhagavatottamotama. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.12.44, this Bhagavatottamotama comes. Bhagavata, who is Bhagavata is the best among everybody is the Bhagavat, that Bhagavata person. So, but here he is telling that Bhagavatottamotama, that is best among the best. He is the Param Bhagavata. And then Yam Pravrajantam Anupeta Peta Krityam वैपायनो विरह कातरः जुहावो पुत्रेति तन्मयतमो तरवो विनीतः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमतो अनाथोऽस्मि. So again, we connect back, like, after 12 years, when Sukadeva Goswami appeared from the womb without, looking back into their parents, he just walks away from the home. He just don't want have any connection with the material affection. So he just don't look after their parents. When as soon as he born, he just walks into the forest. And while walking, some women are the damsels of heavenly planets, they were taking bath in the pond. And as soon as Sukadeva Goswami goes, does not hear anything. But as soon as so Vasudeva comes in the back of Sukadeva Goswami, telling Putra Putra iti, oh son, please stop. uh, so as soon as Vasudev comes, this woman gets up and cover themselves with the cloths. Vasudev asks them, why did they do so? And then the woman actually explains there that your son doesn't have any difference between woman or man or son or daughter, but you have the difference. That's why you are calling your son Putra. And you can have the you are wearing the cloth, but Sukadeva Goswami doesn't have difference between wearing cloth and not wearing cloth. It doesn't have any difference. He's completely detached. Then again walk. He walks back. Sukadeva Goswami actually walks inside the forest and he goes and sits for meditation. Then Vasudeva was like, he could not bring him back. Then what he will do, Vasudeva comes back and he actually sends his two disciples uh, as a woodcutters to the forest to bring back his son. He actually plans some things and he sends his disciples to recite some shlokas and then bring them. Sukadeva Goswami. So these two disciples, went in the form of the woodcutter, and they goes near Sukadeva Goswami where he was meditating, and near the tree they will stand and they will start reciting two verses actually. So what are the two verses we will see? It is from the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.2.23. अहो बकीयं स्तनकालकूटं जिज्ञासयायाप अपि हसाद्वी लेबे गतिं धात्रि उचितं ततून्यं किं वा दयालुं शरणं व्रजेम. So here it is explaining that the she demon who comes in the guise of a mother to give the poisonous milk to feed the Krishna, but still this the Lord gives this such demon like person, she gives the mother position in the spiritual world. So they were telling the Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards in the highest reward. So that is the standard of the character of the character of the Krishna. So whose shelter else we can take in this material world other than him? So as soon as he hears this verse, Sukadeva Goswami was like, who's this person? He from the meditation, he just opens his eyes and he comes near that persons and he asks, can you tell me some more things about him? And how does he look? And so then they again recites one more verse that is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2, 21.5. बर्हापीडं नटवरवपु कर्णयो कर्णीकरं बिभ्रियाद्वसकनकं कपीशं वैजयन्ती च मालं रन्ध्रावेणु आदरसुदयो आपूर्यं गोपवृन्दे वृन्दारण्यं स्वपदरमणं प्रविशाद्गीतकीर्तिः. So this description actually tells about describing the features of the Lord Krishna. He is actually wearing the peacock feather on his head, and he is having blue karnika flowers on his ears, and he's wearing the yellow garments, and he's wearing Vaijayanti garland, and Lord Krishna is exhibiting his transcendental form as the greatest dancers. And he's beautifying the Vrindavan Braj with his lotus feet, and he's filled the holes of the flute with the nectarian lips, and all the covered voices describing these pastimes of Krishna all over the Braj. So after hearing this, Sukadeva Goswami was like fully glad, and he wanted to hear more. Then these disciples tell just wait, this is just a trailer. If you want to hear more, you have to come to our guru. Then Sukadeva Goswami tells that please take me to your guru. Then the disciples takes to Vasudev, and when Sukadeva Goswami sees Vasudev, he was like, oh, this is my father. Then he falls obeisances, and he asks for accepting him as a disciple. Then Vasudeva accepts as a disciple, and he actually recites whole Bhagavatam for him, and that's how actually it is said that Sukadeva Goswami heard Bhagavatam from four persons, that is from Vasudeva, Narad Muni, and Shiva, and Devala. So these are the four persons he heard Bhagavatam from, and and then actually all sages who were sitting on the banks of the Ganges were actually very austere. They were older age than Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami was just young than them, very austere, and very experienced. All the sages who were there. But still, as soon as Sukadeva Goswami came to that place, they actually got up, and everyone pays obeisances. But Prabhupada tells that only three people did not get up. That is Vasudev, Narad Muni, and Parashuram, because Vasudev is his father. Narad Muni is the spiritual master of his father, and Parashurama is Bhagwan himself. So these three persons did not get up, but the rest everyone gets up, and he pays obeisances for Sukadeva Goswami. And also here it is said Krishna consciousness is not about the age or external achievements. It is all about the internal depth, the experience, the realizations, and the absorption one carries. So everyone understood that he is very, very advanced, and also Parikshit Maharaj did not have had any paraphernalia to welcome Sukadeva Goswami over there, but he just pays obeisances to him and welcomes him and gives the seat. And also it is said that Parikshit Maharaj's son Janamejaya actually arranged the seating also for everyone, like for Raja Rishis, Deva Rishis, and for every saintly people are present over there. He actually arranged all the seatings for all of them. And it is also compared that moon is sitting in the middle, and all the constellations and planets and every stars were around the moon. It is compared to that sages who were sitting around the Sukadeva Goswami. And the more what was making effulgence of Sukadeva Goswami is that moonlight beam is the devotion what he was carrying. And one more thing was he did not even ask for diksha. Like one more thing was he actually goes near the Brahma's family only up to the time of milking cows. Not even up to the milking cows sometimes. Because it is described that because of the inner absorption of the Krishna Leela or Braj Leela, which he sees the cow is milked. When he sees the cow is milked, it could be like a stimulant or uddipan in thought of remembering Krishna. So that's how he goes near, and he just stands there, and he just comes back. So it is described like that. And then children and women were actually surrounded Sukadeva Goswami sometime, and they are called as foolish, because they were actually making fun of Sukadeva Goswami. Uh, that's why they are foolish. And another thing is, after coming to the place where Parikshit Maharaj and saintly people were there, as soon as they pays obeisances, and Sukadeva Goswami goes for giving the Bhagavatam. So even after seeing all those things, women and children did not stay there for hearing Bhagavatam. They just runs back to the home. So that's why they are called as foolish. Without taking advantage of such liberated persons, hearing about Bhagavatam, they just goes back to the houses. That's why they called as foolish there. And also one more pastime I wanted to say is when Sukadeva Goswami comes to tell Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, Indra actually it was all throughout the news was spread out. Parikshit Maharaj is going to listen and Bhagavatam. So Indra actually comes from the heavenly planets, taking a big golden pot full of Amrita. He comes to Sukadeva Goswami. He wanted to ask that Sukadeva Goswami that he will give this Amrita for Parikshit Maharaj, so that Parikshit Maharaj will not die. And Sukadeva Goswami comes to the heavenly planets to give the Bhagavatam. It's like Indra wants some win-win situation, but Sukadeva Goswami became very much angry on Indra, that he tells that whatever you have brought is third class Amrit. Whatever I'm going to give Parikshit Maharaj is like first class Amrit. That is telling Srimad Bhagavatam. So then he tells Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, and he bans Indra to hear Bhagavatam. And also the disappearance of Sukadeva Goswami, the place called Shukachari. It is actually in Maharashtra. It is believed that the cave of Shuka, where he disappeared inside the cave, as per the local traditions. Shuka is in Sanskrit one means parrot, and thus the name is derived from the large number of parrots were now also we can find there so many parrots were found on the Sukachari hills, where Sukachari literally means the abode of parrots. One more thing where I could stop that where I was telling about Avaduta is Lokasangraha. The people, so some people comes for the sake of society, they comes to this world and they will do some worldly affairs. Just a second. So they comes to this world for the worldly affairs, and then just they will go back. And the Avadutas, once they don't have to do anything coming here, they will just come here, and whatever they do is like all transcendental things. Avaduta is told for Sukadeva Goswami, and one more is Jadavarat, and one more is I just forgot. It was there on my lips. I just forgot. If anyone knows, you can just tell me. This is all about, and also one more thing that the verse in Prabrajantam Anupeta Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Juhavu. This verse actually recited by Maharaj also sometimes in Mangalacharan. Actually in the mood that when Sukadeva Goswami goes into the forest, these trees were also echoing. When Vasudeva was calling son Putra Putra. So these trees were also echoing. It is said, it is compared that even when such kind of liberated person comes, even the trees will start telling, speaking, or speaking about Harikatha. So in the mood of that, Maharaj also sometimes quotes these words in Mangalacharan. And also in the mood that he who inspired the trees to speak, please inspire this tree-like person to speak some Harikatha. So in mood of this, he recites these words sometimes. And so your ends the session, but I wanted to conclude that I just wanted to ask with all of you what lesson we can learn from the life of Sukadeva Goswami. If all of you can unmute yourself and tell some points which you can learn from the life of Sukadeva Goswami.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, what is the question, Mataji?
Mataji, from the life of Sukadeva Goswami, what we can learn to our life?
That we can apply?
What we can apply in our life.
Is completely detached, Mataji. Is completely detached from the material world.